flashbacks, death and shocking twists, all in one episode. There's only one show that can deliver that kind of excitement, and that is Game of Thrones. Yes, we're here reviewing Season 6, Episode 2 today, which is titled Home, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So, just a quick spoiler alert for everybody out there who has not watched this episode yet. It contains major spoilers, this episode of this review series. And this episode was probably very exciting, so I am going to want to spoil all of the main events that took place last night when it aired in the UK. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Okay, so the title of Season 6, Episode 2 was Home. Now, it was said by Theon during the episode, and I assume because he said to Sansa, he referred to his home, which was Pike, and that's where he's heading, but we'll come on to a bit more of that in a minute. Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward title again. Game of Thrones have been giving me easy titles to deal with this season, which is good, because Gotham always gives me difficult titles. They have to give me titles I have to think about the meaning of them, but yeah, Game of Thrones is easy. So, my 5 words or under then this week are plot twists galore. That's plot twists galore. So, plural plot twists. Plot twists. Yeah, we'll come on to them in a minute. You'll see why there's plot twists galore. There's everything going on. There's everything going on everywhere, and it's just incredible and amazing and brilliant. But we'll come on to all that in a minute. You can tell I'm excited. So first of all, we're going to take a look at King's Landing. As I said last week, King's Landing for me, I really like King's Landing. I like all the storylines that go on around it. First of all, Tommen didn't allow Cersei to visit Marcella's funeral, which was very sad. I thought it was quite horrible on Tommen's part, and it was really sad. I kind of felt a bit upset again for Cersei. Tommen and Jaime's conversation in the Sept was really heartfelt. I think it was really good because it urged Tommen to visit Cersei. Jaime urged Tommen, to visit Cersei, and he did visit Cersei in the end, and that was really good. The High Sparrow speech was exciting. The bit where he said, "Together we can overthrow an empire." Is he planning to overthrow an empire? And if so, which empire? Is he planning to overthrow Tommen's empire, or I don't know, Daenerys' empire, or that's about it actually, isn't there? There's not many people actually left now who have an empire, or the Bolton's empire, or whatever really. Tommen and Cersei's conversation was sweet as well, and it seems to me that Cersei is keen to protect her, her last remaining child, which would make sense given that Tommen is her last child now, because Joffrey was taken by poison in Season 4, Episode 2. I think it's called The Lion and the Rose, and at his own wedding, and it should nickname the Purple Wedding, and also she lost Marcella to poison when she was poisoned by Ilaria Sand in Season 5, Episode 10, Mother's Mercy. So yeah, that's King's Landing. Let's move on to look at Pike. Now, Balon Greyjoy is dead. It was an interesting development, I thought, to the series, because in the books, Balon Greyjoy, this is a spoiler for the books, so if you haven't read them, Balon Greyjoy died in book 3, but it wasn't actually shown. The reader never got to see it. We didn't get to see it. We only heard about it through other characters. He was killed by his brother Euron Greyjoy by being pushed off a bridge, which I thought was quite exciting actually. It was a very good scene that I thought they did it really well. The way that it was just so subtle, but it was really good. It was really effective. Yara was planning a war against the North with Balon. Obviously now she won't be because he's dead. And they sent his body out to sea, which is the traditional way of the Iron Islanders, which I thought was really nice to see, because we've never really seen a proper... We've seen the Tully's funeral ritual, where they send them out onto the river and they set fire to them and burn their body. But we've never really seen any other rituals that have been, other than the Lannisters seem to just kind of lay the body out and put the stones over the eyes. And it was good to see another one of the funeral rituals, so it's good to see the Drowned Gods funeral rituals, which I quite like. And I want to know, will Yara rule the Iron Islands next? Because she seems very keen to rule in Balon's place. So that'd be quite interesting development if Yara gets to rule. So moving on to Winterfell and the North then. Lady Walder gave birth to a boy. So Lady Walder is Roose Bolton's new wife, or his second wife, or his first. It might even be his first. I don't know. But she's the woman he's with at the moment, or married to at the moment. And then Ramsay decides he's going to kill his father. So Ramsay killed Roose Bolton, and then Walder, and then his half brother by feeding or by getting his hounds to maul them to death, which was quite horrific and quite distressing, I suppose, for some people. I mean, I found myself quite shocked by just how low he's become. You know, this essentially this highborn. He was a highborn bastard. He's become Warden of the North and Lord of Winterfell and Lord Bolton by killing the rest of his family, betraying them, which is just quite horrible. So as I said, he's now Lord Bolton / Ruler of the North, which means that he is essentially holding all the power in the North, and that's going to be very dangerous. I think that's like a very dangerous thing for the Northerners and just for Westeros in general. If kind of half the country is being held, or half the continent is being controlled by this one weird, sadistic psycho, essentially. And also, let's move on to Brienne and Sansa and all that lot. So Brienne told Sansa about Arya, which was really sweet. I thought that, you know, Sansa's been reassured that Arya is still alive and still out there somewhere and still fighting and whatever else, you know. And Theon has decided to leave Sansa in Brienne's protection, which I think is good, because it means that he will now get to go home to Pike and be his own person again and be back to be on, hopefully be completely transformed back into Theon again. I mean, I don't know, maybe he won't be, but I'm just hoping that this development will see him become Theon again, as opposed to being Reek, which he's been for the past 3 seasons now, I think. It's almost been 3 seasons since he's become, it was about midway through season 3 that he became Reek. So yeah, let's move on to take a look at the wall now. So, wildlings stormed the wall just as Alistair Thorne was about to break into the room where Jon's body was, which was really good. It was led by the attack was led by Tormund Giantsbane and a giant, which I don't actually know the name of. I swear there is a name for the giant, and I swear he's got a name, but I never know it. But he's been in a few episodes. I think he was in Hardhome, and he might have even been in the Battle for the Wall, which was episode season 4, episode 8. Is it 8 or 9? No, episode 9, which is Watchers on the Wall. It's a very good episode, actually. I recommend you go and watch that one, because it's a fantastic episode if you've never seen that one. So, Alistair was imprisoned, Alistair Thorne, along with Ollie as well. Now, the ending happened at the wall, but as we did last week, I'm going to save the ending for the last bit of my video, because it's just a standalone event in my eyes, and I want to just talk about it separately. So, beyond the wall then, we had Bran has come back after his season-long gap that they had, because they caught up with his storyline in the books, and they're waiting for all the other storylines to kind of catch up with the book endings, at the end of book 5, so that they can continue his storyline. We had Bran having a vision / flashback, I don't really know what to call it, about his father. So his father when he was a child, and also a young Benjen, who's his brother, who was in it for season 1, episodes 1, 2, and I think he might have been in 3, but I'm not entirely sure. He was only in it for a few episodes before he went missing beyond the wall. And also his sister, or their sister Lyanna, who possibly could be Jon Snow's mother, if you believe the R plus L equals J theory. I don't know. I'm still in 2 minds about that, whether I believe that or not. I don't know. But it's quite an interesting theory, and I'd like to believe it's true. I want to know, are we going to see a lot of Eddard's past, so Eddard Stark's past, through Bran's visions? If we are, it'd be really interesting, because I've always wanted to kind of know the backstory to this like hard northerner that's, you know, we see in season 1, and we know part of his backstory. In the books it's a lot more, it gives a lot more backstory, but in the TV program it doesn't really give a lot, so I'd like to see more. And if we are, will we find out who Jon's mother is, as I just said? And Mira Reed doesn't really know how to help Bran, I think, through all this. She doesn't really know how to help, you know, help him out. I think she's still grieving in a way for Jojen, who died in season 4, episode 10, I think, The Children. It's a good episode, I think, for her. It's not this episode, but that one that I was talking about, 4, episode 10. This episode was a little bit boring for her, I thought. She didn't really have a lot to do. She just kind of seems to be moaning a bit, which is a bit sad because I like Mira in the books and I liked her in the TV programme up until a point. Across the narrow sea then, in Bravos, Arya is still blind, which is starting to annoy me more than it should now. I feel like I just kind of want her to be able to get her sight back so that she can see things again, because I think that this is making her really weak, and although it might eventually make her stronger because she'll believe herself that she is actually no one and she's a faceless woman, I do feel like it's annoying her to the point where she just wants to get her sight back, and it's annoying me that she hasn't got her sight back. She was training with the waif again. It's terrible for Arya, but it's quite interesting to see kind of her getting beaten up by us, because she's always been such a powerful, strong woman, for a female character for me, and to have her suddenly be on the receiving end of this, you know, essentially she's lost everything. She's lost her sight, she's lost all her family, she's, you know, moved to a completely different continent to come and train with the faceless men, and yet she's not being allowed in because she's still someone. And there's always an obstacle in her way, but she always seems to overcome it, except this time now she seems to be a bit stuck and doesn't really know what to do. But then Jack and Hagar turned up to help her, which was quite good. I quite like that. I quite like Jack and Hagar helping her out, which is good. I like him. He's a good character. And finally then, before we look at the ending, let's take a look at Meereen. Now, Tyrion has learnt that Astapor and Yunkai have been retaken by the slave masters, which kind of means that all Daenerys' work has been undone. However, in a way it means that he only has to worry about Meereen now, which means he might be able to actually control what's going on there, and then maybe they can retake Astapor and Yunkai later on. There was funny lines from Tyrion as always, and there was a really good line. I like the bit where he said, "I drink, that's what I do. I drink and I know things," and that was a brilliant line for me. And then he went to see the dragons with Varys, and Varys kind of went behind, and Tyrion went in and said that they would be better off freed, and he actually took off their chains, and he's kind of released them a little bit. But I like the story that he told them about wanting a dragon when he was younger, and he asked his uncle for one, and he cried himself to sleep because he didn't get one. It was quite sad, but I just thought it was a really, really, really good way of doing it. And finally then, let's take a look at the ending. Now, the ending of this episode, what an incredible ending. I have never actually been so more excited by an ending of any of the episodes, other than possibly Season 3, Episode 9, Reigns of Castamere, which was the Red Wedding episode. I don't think I've ever felt that emotional about an episode ending than I did last night's episode. Davos asked Melisandre whether she knew any magic to bring Jon back to life, because he reminded her of all the miracles that she'd done, like drinking poison before in Season 2, and also kind of giving birth to a demon, shadow, monster, smoke baby thing in Season 2 as well. And she remembered a ritual that she'd seen Forest of Myr do, or she'd had an encounter with Forest of Myr and seen her, and she remembered a ritual that had been carried out to bring Beric Dondarrion back to life. If you've read the books, you'll know more about Beric Dondarrion than you will in the TV programme, because it's a little bit unclear in the show, but the books is quite clear. She tries it, the ritual on Jon, but it doesn't appear to work. So they all leave the room. So Tormund Giantsbane, Melisandre, Davos and Ed and Dolores Ed leave the room. Ghost opened his eyes, got up, and suddenly we zoomed in on, or we just showed Jon, and suddenly he opened his eyes and started breathing again. Jon Snow is alive, and that's amazing. I was so shocked last night when I saw that. I was so happy at the same time, but just so shocked, because it means that all of our fan theories, all of the theories have been correct, that Jon is actually not dead, and Melisandre went to the wall for a purpose. Although, however, I still wonder if she's lost faith, because she hasn't really seen the body yet, so she doesn't believe in the Lord of Light completely. So we have to see what happens next week with Jon. I want to know what he's going to do now. So there was no Daenerys, Daario or Jorah this week either, which was a little bit annoying, because I quite like to see what happens with the Daenerys storyline now she's heading off to Vaes Dothrak. Although in the teaser trailer for next week we have been shown Daenerys again, so I assume she's coming back into it next week's episode. And there was no Dornish storyline either, which I was a little bit shocked by, but then I assume it's because we've been to Pike as well, and we had the whole Jon Snow incident thing. They can't have too many kind of storylines running at once in each episode, because obviously it will get too confusing, and we'll be left with just no idea what's going on. So my conclusion for this week's episode was it was a fantastic episode, or an incredible episode actually. It's probably in my top 3 episodes of all time, just throughout the whole of Game of Thrones. You know, all 52 episodes that I've had, it's probably in my top 3. It may even be my number 1 episode. But then I quite like Blackwater. I'm not sure it's quite as good. The ending was much better than Blackwater's ending, but Blackwater was just my favourite episode, which is season 2, episode 9. If you're interested, if you haven't watched that, it's another massive battle, which is just a fantastic battle. So I'd go and watch that as well, just like the Watch on the Wall. Yeah, and my overall rating, I think, for the week, I've given it a 9.5 out of 10 because it was just so incredible. It's not quite a 10 out of 10 because there were still a few elements missing. It might just be me being really picky, but I don't know, I just felt there was a few things still missing that could have been included that weren't. So, yeah, that is my Game of Thrones review for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe down below for more videos like this, and check out my channel page for my Gotham reviews if you're interested in Gotham, and any of my other videos you can go and check out now. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye!